Hi there, my name is Ira and I run the Missoula Public Library's Makerspace. Here at the Missoula Public Library, I like to call the Makerspace, it's like a creative technology hub for all ages where you can utilize our tools and technology that we have for various projects that you might want to actualize. And we've got the tools and the knowledge from staff to help you out with whatever project it might be. So I'm going to take you on a little tour of the space, give you an idea of some of the things that we've done with the machines that we have, and hopefully it'll give you a better idea of kind of what all we offer to the citizens of Missoula and Missoula County. Over in this area, we got a lot of various hand tools, as well as a sewing machine that patrons can use. This is a drill press, a cordless drill. So this is our latest and greatest thing that we got for the new building. It's called a laser engraver and laser cutter. Essentially what it does is there's a high-powered CO2 glass tube in the back of the machine itself. The other end of the glass tube is an infrared laser beam that basically comes out this side, and then I'm going to open this up. And so there's a series of mirrors. So there's one back in that little hole. The infrared beam comes out from there, hits this mirror, and then that mirror, and then gets pointed down. And then what it does is it basically burns into the material to engrave whatever sort of image or text that you set up through the program that runs it. Here's some examples of things we've done. This is on some plywood. This is a deeper engraving on it, which happens when you increase the power settings of the laser itself. This is just a slight engraving. This is when you have light power settings set up in the software that runs it, so it's not outputting as much energy from the laser beam. This is an example of some acrylic that we engraved an older Makerspace logo on, as well as we actually cut out that shape, that oval shape from it. This machine can also mark on metal. I have a spray that you spray on, this is I think stainless steel, you spray it on there, and then once the laser contacts it, there's a chemical process that happens where the marking material actually stays affixed to this. What's really cool about it is that this does not scratch off. So those are just a few examples of what we've done so far on the laser, and it's pretty fun. I think a lot of people will enjoy using it. So this is the software that runs the laser engraver. It's called Lightburn. And what's cool about it is I have a camera attached to the machine itself. So what I did was basically it took a photo of the bed of the machine, and then there's a piece of plywood on there. And what you can do is import images. This was an image of our logo that I just imported in the software. And what's cool is you can actually, using this snapshot of the bed, you can actually place your image wherever you want. Or say if I wanted to duplicate it for some reason, I could actually, to do like multiple cuts, I can set it up like that. So now essentially when this job is running, it will engrave the Missoula Public Library logo 2 times exactly in those spots. Our next piece of equipment to feature, it's called a CNC router. It's called the Carvey by this company, Inventables. It's sort of like the laser engraver, except that it uses what's called, this is a milling bit that you install on this collet system. And essentially what happens is the software that runs this, you can either make your own designs with like a pencil tool in different shapes, or you can import your own images. This is an example of a logo created by a coworker for the 5 Valley Seed Library, which we have on the 3rd floor of the library. And this is engraved just into some scrap wood that I got from Home Resource. But essentially what happened was you just import the logo into the software, you choose how big of material you're using and the thickness of it, and then you can choose things like the depth of cut settings on this, so this was just kind of a slight etching into the material. It's not going super deep, but this gives you an example of what you can actually create with this machine. And there's different milling bits that we have. This is called a V-bit. We've also got these kind of straight looking bits like this that are more for straight cuts. in material. What the this V bit does is kind of gives a more beveled look to cuts and engravings on whatever material you use it for. And this is the software that runs the Carvey CNC router. This is called Easel. So in this software, up here, I inputted the values in metric of the size of the stock material. So what I want to cut, the size of that material in the machine. Here's where I input the values for the bits. So the first cut of this, I did an 1/8 inch bit, which is more of kind of a straight cut, and that's for the sort of roughing parts of this design. And then the more detail designs, you use a detail bit, and it's a 60-degree V bit. And that's what's cool about this software, is it gives you a nice preview of what your piece should look like once it's done carving. So this machine here, this is called the Cricut Maker. They call this, it's called a die cut cutting machine. Essentially what it is it uses this blade system. So this is a small little blade that you install, and the software that runs it, essentially you can import logos that you've created or found online, and as well as use different kinds of text to basically cut out the material. So this is a really good machine for cutting through different kinds of paper, cardstock. This is adhesive vinyl that I cut through, and so this is signage that I actually made for each of our informational perches throughout the library on each floor, because people were getting confused at which floor they were at. So this was kind of a quick way to help out my coworkers with a simple project I did with this, where I just, in the software that runs it, it's called Cricut Design Space. I essentially just kind of show you. This is the area where you choose your text, or you can import your images, and it's set up basically on a, it can go out to 24 inches, but I usually do a 12-inch by 12-inch grid for my designs. And so this is where you set up your text or your images, and then once you're happy with what you've got, you just click on Make It, and essentially this is where you'll then load up the material that you want to be cut into. And with the Cricut, it uses these mats. So say if I wanted to cut out a design on this paper, oops, I would set this up just like that to stick onto there, and then you basically feed this into the machine, and then it basically will do all of the cut settings for you, and then you just take the material off of the mat, and then you're good to go. So this is called a 3D scanner. This is what you would use if you want to try to digitize real-world objects into 3D models for 3D printing. So as an example, say if I wanted to digitize, let's say, these pliers, see if that would work. I'm going to do, it's called an auto scan real quick in the software that runs this. Set it up, and basically what it's going to do is it shines this, it's called structured white light scanning, and basically it shoots this white light over the object as it's scanning, and then it basically tries to take what it's recorded and then fuse it together as a 3D model. Yeah, so it's good for smaller objects. It doesn't always catch all of the detail of an object, so it's kind of on a case-by-case basis how good the scanner works, because it's a few years old. But you can get some decent results with it, with some trial and error. But essentially, yeah, it's capturing all that data by shooting that light on it, and then it's going to rotate each time to capture each part of the object itself. And then the idea is if the scan turns out well, I can export this digitized 3D model that it created out to then be 3D printed. And then last but not least is our 3D printers. So we have 4 of them. This one is Spectrum's down here. So these are used to build 3D models, either that we've found online through websites that offer 3D models for free to download, and then the other sort of option is if people want to get into creating their own 3D models, there's a handful of pieces of software that are free out there. There's one for kids, it's called Tinkercad, and one for adults that I've used in the past and taught classes on called Fusion 360. So there's lots of options out there for people if they want to get into 3D printing and create their own things. They've got options out there. So this thing is creating, this is the second thing that I've printed, but it is a, oops. It's a little Minecraft character called the Creeper, I guess. I'm not super familiar with Minecraft, but yeah, this printed in 3 different parts. And as you can see, it's printing right now, and this should be done hopefully soon. It's about 73%, but this is the final completed product. So kids are really into 3D printing for various things like this. Here's an example of something that a gentleman emailed me. I believe it's parts for a sunroof that he's making, maybe to manufacture. I think it's a prototype though that he might use as a mold. But this was something he emailed me earlier today just asking if we could 3D print for him. And so we printed these out. So it's kind of varies a lot what we print, from like things for kids to prototypes for adults. So this is called a Delta style 3D printer. So there's, it's one of the types on the market that you'll find. And essentially it goes on a 3-arm system. And then the build plate actually sits flat. It doesn't move around at all. All of the printing is done using this 3-arm system, and then they, with every layer, these go up on a series of rods as it's building. This is contrasted with, they call it a Cartesian style, or this is a Prusa style 3D printer, which this is the company Prusa, which kind of basically came out with this open source design for 3D printers. So with these style of printers, which all 4 of these basically follow the same design, this build plate moves back in the y-axis. The print head itself goes this way in the x-axis, and then layer by layer, as the print is printing, it goes up in the z-axis using these 2 rods. So we've got these tables set up. Right now we're not doing classes for the public. We probably will be able to do that maybe later this summer or in the fall. But essentially it's just a workspace area for folks to use if they want to work on 3D modeling, if they just need use of the tools and need a workspace, this will be available to them. We also, a few of the other things we have, which these tables would be used for, is we've got a few robotics kits and other sorts of things for kids to play around with if they'd like to explore this kind of stuff as something as 3D printing. Thanks for watching, and feel free to reach out if you have any questions. I'm going to have my email and phone number listed in this video, and we will be resuming classes at some point in the future. We do have the option to do that. We've got a drop-down screen as well as a nice projector. So look forward to those things, and reach out if you do have questions. Thanks.